Now I would like to introduce Mr. Anil Sachdev, who will be presenting new trends in quality training. His specialties are TQM, Deming Prize, Six Sigma, Lean Management, New Product Development designed for Six Sigma, Strategy Development and Deployment, and Operational Excellence.
Am I audible?
I can hear you.
Okay. And you can see my slides as well?
Correct, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Kamran, for this opportunity to interact with you on this session. I probably odd man out. I'm not talking about the academic institution. I'm generally talking about the corporate quality trainings. I represent a company called TQMI in India. We do consulting work and training work in the field of quality management. And what happened? I think, yeah, now it's okay. So as Dr. Ishikawa said that QC, the quality control or quality management, starts and ends with education. That's a very popular and very powerful statement. And we believe in this, that if the companies have to practice quality management, they have to spend a lot of time and effort in the quality education. Traditionally in India, mostly my presentation will be what I have experienced in India and maybe neighboring countries, but mostly India part. Most companies in India, they are doing in-house training, which is in-company training for various levels, right from the CEOs and senior executives to down to the worker level or associate level or the frontline employees on different topics, right from quality management to daily work management to statistical control to various tools. And they use both internal and external trainers. There's also external training being planned, which is by sending people to either Japan, especially to Union of Japanese Scientists and Engineers. We have Office of ASQ in India. A lot of people go to ASQ certifications. There are 3-4 consulting companies, especially we are the largest one in India, TQMI. And we get the clients both in the manufacturing and the non-manufacturing, which is the service sector. We also have a lot of conferences happening where there is a lot of, let's say, knowledge sharing, both at India level and international level, where people go from India and participate and learn from those sessions. The Indian companies also have sent study missions to JUSC, good companies within India and outside India to learn from their best practices, which could include the companies which have won either Deming Prize, Malcolm Baldrige Prize, or EFQM, which in India is called CII Exim Award. Exim is a bank here, Export-Import Bank. They, along with Confederation of Indian Industry, they give this award to Indian companies. So these companies also are used for learning from each other. Now, this trend is going on for the last maybe 25, 30 years. I have been involved in this field for about 3 decades now. And what we found is if the education is not correct, if the training is not correct, the fallout, let's say the impact is very, very bad. So we need to ensure that we understand quality control in the right way. So quality of education, quality of training is very important. And the understanding has to be perfect. And again, I'm quoting one statement by Professor Ishikawa, which says the quality control, or as Japanese call quality control, but we call quality management, will fail if everybody misunderstands it. If it will succeed only if everyone understands it properly. Now, this proper understanding requires a lot of experience and actual practical application before we teach the people. Now, coming with the current situation, we find there are 5 key trends which are happening, right from going back to the basics in some companies, to application focus. 3 is shift from tools to business solution. We are not looking for a specific management tool like Six Sigma or Lean. We want to solve our problems. The 4th, upstream process, which is especially the new product planning, new product development. How do we build TQM and quality management concepts there? And fifth, I think I don't have to elaborate because Dr. Ahmed just now explained on this quality 4.0, our data analytics, which is now the talk of the town. So I'm just going to back to the basics. What we find is there are many things, many issues in quality, many issues related to productivity happen because people have forgotten the basics. Now, basic could be as simple as the 5S implementation, accepting abnormalities, not having any daily management control, daily work management, which means the process is not in control, basic understanding of problem solving and basic QC tools, very simple tools like Poka-Yoke or mistake proofing. And many organizations, which even win Deming Prize, are coming back to this, that people have left, the people who got the Deming Prize have left the organization, they have retired, they have moved to some other companies, so new generation doesn't know it. And slowly there is a, let's say, decline in these initiatives, and they are going back to these basics. But these basics are equally important for our large, micro, small, and medium enterprises, which is still not very deeply touched with the quality management practices. And most of the MSMEs are micro, small, medium enterprises in the country. We are trying to start with the basics. Same is true for the service sector. I'm just coming first to this, adaptation to the service sector, where it is still, the TQM concepts are still not fully mature. But the effect is that there is a high cost of poor quality, low value added ratio, which means there is a lot of waste or Buddha in the process. And many of these can be simply corrected by the basics. And I think academic institutions also are realizing that we need to build some basic course for quality. And many of our organizations, especially in engineering and management education colleges, these things are being taught right in the college level, so that we can catch these people their learnings in the early stage only. So when they go to industry, they are familiar with these concepts, these methods and tools. The second, as I said, is we are going to application focus, which I think started when the Six Sigma came into the India in late 90s, early 2000. And what was the realization is that classroom training brings only limited knowledge transfer. And what most companies today we talk about is 70-20-10 model. That means 10% training, actually knowledge transfer happens with the formal training, 20% with the interaction, and remaining 70% with the application on the job. So the basic starting point was when we started the Six Sigma and Lean application. For example, in TQMI, we were partnering with Motla University. We were representing Motla in a way in India. We also did some programs on Lean with them and also with Lean Enterprise Institute of the USA. Both of them relied on the certification-oriented training. That means you learn in the classroom, apply on a project and get certification. Could be a green belt certification, black belt certification, master black belt, lean practitioner, lean implementer. So several certifications happened, but the basic point was that they were looking at better learning and better return on. So the employees got better learning, organization got better return on investment for the learning and development investment. But what happened was it was focusing on a tool. For example, Six Sigma means we were only looking at Six Sigma methods. If you're looking at Lean, we're looking only at Lean. And most people, the focus moved was how quickly I can get my black belt or green belt certification. So challenge is now, after certification, how do we make sure that they continue to contribute to the company? Many people after black belt certification or green belt certification don't continue with the improvement journey, or they're not participating in the improvement projects. So many organizations are now reviewing this structure, that we'll have certificate validity for 2 years or 3 years, and then within 2 years, you must do one more project if you want to continue your certification process. The third concept, which is catching up very fast, and I think most of our clients are demanding today, this part is that give us this business solution. We are not keen on a particular method or a tool or a approach. You understand our problem and try to come out a business solution, a customized solution, which can help us to solve our problems. So our learning and development efforts should solve the company's problem. Tools and method could be just incidental. I may use one tool in one situation, another tool in another situation. And I'm So training is done on the full toolkit, but they use the tool as needed. And here are some examples which I'm just quoting from the companies where we work with, that we could customize the training as per the problem statement of the company. For example, there is a company which is making optical fibers in India. Most of it is exported outside India, and some is used within India because India is also in a fast moving in the telecom space where it is get used. Now, company had orders, but they were not able to fulfill because they had a lot of losses in the process. And they said if you can improve the yield by 8%, they can get a revenue, additional revenue of about 50 million US dollars, which was a huge for them. And we helped them to do this by using a combination. We understood there are problems in machines. So how to do issue was in our autonomous maintenance. A lot of issue of consistency. So how do you use standardization? A lot of waste in the process, including quality issues. So lean and problem solving. So a combination was done, not a single method. Similarly, another company which is making the meat, they take the animal and convert it into exportable meat. Again, 100% export-oriented company. They had demand, they had the inputs available, animals are available, export demand is available, but productivity was being low. They were not able to meet the full demand. And we could improve their yield by 25% with a combination of, again, very basic things like 5S, use of lean methods, some quality improvement projects, redesigning of the toolings, for example, the deboning tool, which is very important for cutting the meat, using some good understanding of the process of cutting and using some concept of DFSs. So a combination was again used here. And just to give a contrast in the service sector, we worked with an insurance company, life insurance company, and we could reduce their customer complaint by 50% and time to resolve complaints by almost 80%. And this company, as per the Indian insurance regulator basis, they were number 10 in the private sector ranking in terms of performance. Within 8 months, they actually jumped 6 points, and they were from 10th to 4th point they could move. But the combination had to be done. We had to make a combination of lean problem solving and daily management. The challenge areas, we have to focus on learning by application, not specific training. Although we start with this concept of design of training, a content is decided, but that is always defined over a period of time. As we get more insight, the content is refined throughout the application cycle. But the challenge here is people who have experienced in problem solving, in understanding the problem condition, coming into the right combination, appropriate combination is the right person required. So we required experienced trainers, just not the classroom trainers, but the trainers who have the ability to also understand the company's context and the problems, the business scenario, and then adopt the solution. The fourth condition is we are moving now to upstream process. A lot of things have happened in the operation area, both in the manufacturing and non-manufacturing companies. But realization is coming is that if the company has to look for future, they have to come with timely launch of the new products so that we can give more variety to the customer, better features to the customer in our new products, new services which we design. Now, this requires understanding the full chain, customer to customer in case of B2C business, M2M or market to market for B2B business. And each of this step has to be mapped. For example, in our process, we have mapped these 16 phases of the whole entire new product development process, right from opportunity scoping, opportunity studying and scoping the customer's product definition. What is the market, what customer wants, who are the competitor, and what the new product should give as a product performance. Then, of course, comes the detailed designing, right from concept design to detailed design, to use of predictive methods like what can go wrong in FMEA or simulations, modeling, validation, and finally the launch. And of course, there are post-launch activities like sales, marketing support, industry monitoring, and so on, till product is exited from the system. So this phase 1 to phase 11 is where I think today we are focusing in many organizations, that how do we make sure that we are able to come quick products which are very easy to absorb in the market, which are successful both technically in terms of performance and also commercially to give the right kind of revenue and profitability to the company. And supporting this particular methods is a list of tool. Again, this, I'm not saying this is a complete list. This is just an indicative list given here. We cover many, many tools in this journey, in this process of the companies. And initially this was limited to automotive sector, but now we have clients in all the sectors, including auto components, the white goods industry, the electronic industry, and also now service companies like telecom sector, insurance companies. They come and request us to come with the new products which have used all kinds of tools. Now, this toolkit is a big toolkit, starting with even product definition, survey designing, kind of model for attractive quality, quality function deployment, TRIS, which is a Russian tool, book metrics, FMEA is used extensively. In manufacturing, we're also using effectively the design for manufacturability, design for assembly, design for service, and many more tools, including reliability evaluation, which are there in this list. And again, I said it's not the full list, it's just an illustrative list I'm giving here. And every company doesn't start with every tool which is explained here. We go step by step in the process. The last part is every company is today looking at the power of the IT and data analytics, IoT, whatever name you give, quality 4.0. So where we are saying that how do we move from descriptive analytics to diagnostic? For example, what happened is the descriptive. Diagnosis is why did it happen? Why did this happen? Then predictive has two parts: foresight, what will happen, and insight, how will make sure that it will continue to happen? How do we do that it happens as per our requirement? And cognitive analytic is why did I know? How can I see a 360-degree situation so I can take the right decision, right action, right now in the right context? So this is how the data analytics and quality 4.0 is evolving in the companies, from data to information to optimization. And there is some example which I don't have to read right now. So in data analytics, we're talking about the 5 key elements. One is how do we have the data storage and management so that we can access the data quickly and reliably during the analysis whenever we need it. How do we make data cleaning? If you have too much of information, which is the really data we are looking for? Having too much data also becomes a challenge. So we need to make a manageable data set, clean the data which is not giving value, which are outliers and so on, where data is not complete. Explore the data using the hypothesis testing, making intuition about the process. And of course, then comes the prediction. I think that's where the most of the power of data analytics is coming, is that how do we predict what's going to happen? And we have various tools such as regressions, correlation regression, classification, clustering, forecasting, and many more optimization tools which are there as part of this system. And lastly, of course, we need to communicate the result to the management in a very simple, easy to understand pictures and visuals so that decision can be taken in a simple manner. So how do we make stories? How do we make the data visualization? How do we make interpretation summaries? So management can act on those decisions based on this analysis. Most companies have a lot of data, but how do we come data into information and then use it for making decisions? That's the whole challenge. And to support this, we have come out with this many programs, right from data science overview to Python, basics for data science. A lot of companies are looking for this as the starting point, visualization of data. Of course, descriptive analytics and machine learning, both supervised and unsupervised, text mining, and then of course, going up to deep learning and the artificial intelligence. So this many modules is done by our organization. There are many more organizations in India who are running this particular type of approaches. And just to conclude now, I will not take much time, just to conclude. What we have found is the basic principle of quality management remains the same. Tools and methods keep evolving. For example, nobody talked data analytics maybe, let's say 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And nobody even talked so much on new product development about 10 years ago, but there is a lot of talk about the new product development today. The second is we need, people get trapped on the flavor of the month. Other companies doing Six Sigma, so let me also do Six Sigma. My competitor is doing lean, so let me also do lean. We should avoid this trap. you have to find what is useful for your company. Each company has to decide what is the problem, what problem you want to address. And then, as I said, make a customized solution rather than going by a special tool or a special approach. As I said, remember, the objective is to solve a problem, not to go over Six Sigma or Lean or TQM or something. And over a period of time, I realized these two will be the major focus in the coming time. How do we customize business solution for the companies? And how do we use the power of data? And data also includes today not just the numerical data, but also the language and verbatim data, even visuals, videos, and all kinds of data which is used. How do we analyze and come to the right conclusion? So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.